Welcome to Keeping Up with Our Community, a podcast for and about Romeo Community Schools. Each week, we will invite different guests to share insights about some unique aspects of our schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and schedule a visit at mit.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Hello, my name is Marianne Brush, and I'm the Communications and Marketing Supervisor for Romeo Community Schools. It is my pleasure to introduce episode 36 of the Keeping Up with Our Community Schools podcast. In today's episode, we'll learn about Hamilton-Parsons' new character programs, Capturing Kids' Hearts and the Positivity Project. Here with us to share the important role these programs play are Hampar Principal Rita Van Staveren, music teacher Adam Busatil, fourth grade teacher Tony Gillespie, and kindergarten teacher Haley Freeman. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Van Staveren to lead the discussion.
Hi, everyone. This is Rita Van Staveren, and I'm here with a team of our teachers from Hamilton-Parsons, and we're so excited because this year we have kicked off two programs that we're super passionate about, and we also believe are foundational, systematic things that are in place that are really kicking off our year to a fresh and happy start. So one of our programs is Capturing Kids' Hearts, and a little background knowledge of this, we went to visit schools and we came across Capturing Kids' Hearts and the Positivity Project. And we had a search team, and this was a team that really had high interest in what would be best for our school culture. And these two programs stood out in schools. It stood out when we talked to the kids. It stood out with their discipline. It stood out with just the language that they use and the simplicity of it as well. So we started before even those students walked in the door. We had Capturing Kids' Hearts training for our whole staff. And something that was really valuable and meaningful about that was that we were really getting to know each other's stories. And I think of that Abraham Lincoln quote, "I do not like this man, I must get to know him better." And I think that to be true, that we all have some kind of connection when we really listen to one another's stories. So as a staff, we dug deep into who we were, and we bonded. We bonded at a level of, like, I know there's some close relationships already at Hamilton-Parsons, and it was taken to the next level. I heard people say things like, "I didn't even know that about you." And that is also what we want to provide for our students, because if we know our students deeply, we can help support them and give them what they need to help them be most successful. So that was such a great foundational structure for us. And then we just wanted to bleed that into our day with our kids. So what we really were pushing with Capturing Kids' Heart to start the year was greeting our students with great intention, having them share good news, like what's going good in your life, and then following up on that with asking them questions about how was that cross-country race. I heard you ran through a river. That's really awesome. And being very intentional and truly genuinely engaged with our kids. And then the Positivity Project really offered for us language and lessons that were every day. So there's 24 words, and we have kicked off this year already with the idea of other people matter. And even as a principal, it is so awesome to say, we just got new recess equipment and they're treating it awesome. But I just said, not only do we want to treat that equipment really great, we also want to treat each other really great because other people matter. And then the following week was curiosity. And again, how are we curious about the world around us? Are we curious about others? And are we asking good questions and caring about, who's sitting next to us and what is the content that we're learning about? In addition to that, we learned this week we're in the word of teamwork. And for us to learn how to function as a team holistically as a school, but also within the classroom is going to really, I think, be the glue that holds us together to have a super successful year, because we know that our kids are going to learn if they feel safe, if they feel comfortable, and if they feel heard and seen. So with these two programs blending together, we believed for our search team that was of 7 teachers and myself, that was diverse from specialist teachers or social worker, upper L, lower L, that these two would be the perfect blend to be exactly like for what would support our culture. And now we're actually seeing it happen in our community. So I'm going to pass it off to our team here and have them share a little bit about what the program maybe means to them and how it has affected their classroom culture and their kids.
So within my classroom, I teach music. And within the classroom, it's something that has been really important to me because I feel like I can teach social emotional learning as through Capturing Kids' Hearts or the Positivity Project pretty easily in there. And I do like to try and greet all my students at the beginning. When I'm not out there, they're confused. They don't even know how to get into the room because they just expect to see my face right away and check in on them because they want to, and they want a high five, or they want a fist bump, or some of them want a hug. So they crave that, and that was one of the first things that I noticed that was huge coming into my classroom that kind of just opened that door to set the class up for success on that day. And then, incorporating good news through Capturing Kids' Hearts. The students, I've asked them many a times, I said, how often do you get to do this? This is before we were implementing a lot into our classrooms regularly. And all of them were like, not very often. It's all, it's work. We got to get things done. And we didn't have the time set aside always to do it. We had time to do it, but we never did it always. And it was wasn't a part of the daily every day. It was supposed to be, but it just didn't seem to always fit as seamless as I thought it could. So, doing the good news, they just are craving the ability to share and want you to know about that soccer game they played or that they went to their best friend's birthday. And it's nice because in the hallway, you can catch up with those students and talk to them about it. And I just see that my classroom has just run so much smoother when they have that opportunity to talk about themselves. It eliminates some of the other chatter that sometimes happens in class as well. It gives them that point or that place and time to have the platform and have a place to talk. And it helps because then they're not having those sidebar conversations always. So then we can get to the meat and potatoes of the lesson of that day because they've had that chance to socialize and talk to each other. Those things have been going great for me. Having the Positivity Project words just visible all the time so we can refer to them has been fantastic for my students. They're recognizing connections not only in the music room, but they're also connecting, hey, we're learning about that word in the classroom and now I see it here. So there's a lot of, positive feedback, immediate feedback that the students are seeing. And I just see a happier culture within the school. Not that nothing was bad before, but it just seems to be uplifting for all of our students. And I see a lot more smiles and a lot more highs and hellos and greetings just with each other. So those are some things that I'm just seeing from my standpoint as the general music teacher from Hamilton-Parsons.
Yeah, I teach 4th grade. And I think that the two programs work really well together. I think they honestly should just come together. For me, I think that Capturing Kids' Hearts is more about me building relationships with my kids by greeting them in the morning and listening to their good news, and also creating the social contract lets them know not just how are they going to treat each other, but what can they expect for how I'm going to treat them and how they're going to treat me. And it just gives me a very good framework to exist in, that social contract. I never made one before because I always like to make simple, easy to follow, unstressful rules, but rules are not flexible, and the social contract is very flexible, and I have to be flexible throughout the day because sometimes I need them to be louder and sometimes I need them to be quieter, but there's always a certain way that I need them to treat each other because there's so many of us in a room. And Capturing Kids' Hearts, their sort of behavior management model really works well for that. It never puts anger into the situation. They know that I'm going to treat them like this when we have a conflict, which teaches them that that's how they're going to treat me and that's how they're going to treat each other. And I think that the Positivity Project teaches them how to build relationships with each other. They kind of see it demonstrated in me with the model that Capturing Kids' Hearts provides. And with the behavior or with the Positivity Project, they learn all these words and ways of dealing with each other. And we talk about it every day. It becomes normal to talk about teamwork and how do we work as a team. And it normalizes thinking about how can we be together. And the kids felt maybe weird about it at first, answering kind of what seems like silly questions. Today we talked about what would you bring to a Lego Ninjago team? What would your skill be? And at first they're saying things like, I would have lava power. But once they understood it, they were saying, well, I would make sure we were all on track, and I would make sure everybody was fed. And they would kind of think about their skills, and that makes it more normal to talk about, well, what can I bring to this math group where I have to work to create this project? So I think they work really well together, and I'm excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the blending of the two has been something that we thought might happen easily, but it's happening a lot easier than we imagined. When we were searching for the two programs, we talked a lot about how Capturing Kids' Hearts is how you move, while Positivity Project is a lot more concrete and it's specific examples and it's giving kids language for their character strengths and ideas of how they can develop those. But they've really gone together so well. And I found that in our Positivity Project lessons, during the Curiosity Week, we were talking about how we can be curious about our friends and things that make us good friends and what we can ask people to learn more about them. And then we brought that into good things, which comes from Capturing Kids' Hearts. And we were sharing our good things, and then they were practicing being curious by asking follow-up questions. And I found it's really, really natural and easy to blend the character strengths into the routines that we have with Capturing Kids' Hearts. And I just love the focus on relationships that both programs bring us. Like Rita mentioned, the Positivity Project is all about how other people matter and how having relationships with people makes you a happier person. So it's not about only thinking about other people, but it's about thinking about how you blend with others and how you create these strong, positive relationships in your life that are going to better you. And then Capturing Kids' Hearts just gives them natural, everyday ways to do that, which I think has been really cool.
So I just want to thank you for giving us this time. And I also thank our awesome team in taking the time to just share some of your perspective and stories that are happening real life in our day-to-day. I have to say, my favorite part of the day is seeing us greet in the morning. It's really electric. You can feel it. It feels just inviting. It feels welcoming. I mean, I like bringing my boombox with me because I like music, and I think music makes, the kids relax and feel good. So they're always adding to my playlist. It's like another just like level of that greeting. And on Fridays, I'll take a loop with that radio, and, the kids, they're hugging their teachers and they're giving high fives, and they have, their pattern of how they're entering the day. And I know just by the vibe from my role is that they feel ready for the day. They feel like they belong. And, not to say that it wasn't there before, but it's definitely elevated, and it's become like this electric vibe that we were giving off. And we just hope that this continues to, transcend into their families and how they move in, their sports teams and how they move on the weekend. Like, we don't want to just change behavior or, have them be robots of, what we are delivering here at school. We really want to set them up to be successful and caring in life. And I think these programs are really giving us a streamlined language and is setting us up for success, because we love your kids, and teaching them good practices is one of our ways that we can show that we love them. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you guys for working with me today.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Well, special thank you to our guests for joining us today. In future episodes, we'll hear from the other elementary schools about their character programs and other ways our educators create a positive learning environment for their students. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next week to keep up with Romeo Community Schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and schedule a visit at mit.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com.